Hu Yang is on his way back to Korea from America. His uncle, Baek-wook, advises him to just stay in Korea and not travel again. Hu Yang replies that he is in a hurry to finish his work in Korea and return once more to America. Then we see Lee Ju on her way to a blind date which she was forced to because of her friend. She gets into the place, and mistakenly sits on Hu Yang's table. Upon seeing her, Hu Yang was stunned, as he remembers her to be his high school friend. Before speaking, Hu Yang's friend comes, and Lee Ju discovers that her date was another person. She apologized for the mistake and left. Hu Yang's friend noticed his attention was drawn to the girl. He reveals the relation, adding that he's upset she can't remember him. Lee Ju gets out of the place with her date, but she was watching Hu Yang from the mirror. She can't bear talking with that guy who feels like a robot, and she says she has to go. At that time, Hu Yang also leaves his friend, keeps thinking about Lee Ju. He sees her at the bus station, and remembers that day she gave him a confessing message, but he was too shy to open it in front of everyone. Hu Yang decides to correct his mistake and confess his love to her. However, she was already gone in the bus. Hu Yang feels sad, but as he goes in his way he sees her eating on a food cart. Hu Yang joins her and is surprised when she says it's nice to meet him again. Hu Yang knows she still remembers him when she says that he never changed. She takes his number, telling him that she will help him meet all their classmates. All of a sudden, Hu Yang asks if she still likes him. Lee Ju is shocked to the extent that she spits the food out of her mouth. She can't talk and she immediately leaves him frustrated. He stays all night waiting for her to call him. He remembers the first time he met her when his leg was broken. He saw her sleeping in the school bus, and the driver asked him to wake her up. As he gets closer, he's mesmerized by her beauty. He wakes her up and she thanks him. However, when they reach the school, Lee Ju discovers that the principal is punishing the late students. She quickly holds Hu Yang, telling the principal that her friend's leg is broken, and she was helping him, that's why she was late. However, Hu Yang quickly denies it, telling the principal that she's not his friend, he just met her on the bus. Which makes the principal punish her, and she swears revenge on Hu Yang. When he gets to the class, he discovers a notebook that has fallen from her into his bag, and he sees how talented she is in drawing. The teacher noticed Hu Yang was absent-minded, and asked him to solve the problem on the board. Hu Yang easily and quickly solves the problem. He's actually ranked the smartest student in the school. The teacher feels embarrassed, and says to the students that his teaching is the reason why Hu Yang is so smart. Out of the window, Hu Yang sees Lee Ju drawing. She looks at him and waves her hand, smiling. Hu Yang's heart beats, announcing that he likes her beauty. Going back to the future, Hu Yang was eagerly looking at his phone waiting for her to call him. At that time Lee Ju was eating, not even thinking about Hu Yang. She calls her best friend Hai-ji, telling her what happened to her. Hai-ji gets shocked at discovering that Hu Yang came back to Korea from America once more. She asks if Lee Ju knows if he has a girlfriend. She replied that she didn't know, but she managed to get his phone number. Hai-ji remembers how she was in love with Hu Yang since high school. She confesses her feelings to her friend Lee Ju, who advises her to talk to him. As she was super shy, she can't. When they see him, Lee Ju discovers that it's the same guy with the broken leg. For her friend, she decides to forgive him, suggesting that Hai-ji can write him a letter. For being so shy, Hai-ji gave the letter to Lee Ju to hand to Hu Yang, but he didn't accept it. And everyone misunderstood that she is the one who likes him. Back to the future, Lee Ju advises Hai-ji to just forget about the past as they were just teenagers. However, Hai-ji reveals that she still has feelings for Hu Yang, and asks Lee Ju to help her get him once more. Lee Ju reveals her disinterest in relationships in general, replacing love for people to her love for food. The next day, Hu Yang goes to his company, and his friend introduces him to the board. Hu Yang starts showing them the mistakes that they have made, making all of them in shock at his skills. His friend feels frustrated as Hu Yang looks like not in the mood today. He follows him to the office, asking why he keeps looking at his phone. Hu Yang reveals that he's still waiting for Lee Ju to call him. Then he receives a call from an anonymous person. Excited, Hu Yang thinks it's Lee Ju and he replies to the call. He hears Hai-ji's voice trying to remind him of herself, asking if he wants her to hold a welcome party for him. Hu Yang, as he doesn't remember who Hai-ji is, rejects, but immediately agrees at knowing Lee Ju will be there. At night, he prepares himself for the welcome party. His friend asks if he has a date. Hu Yang replies that he's not giving attention to this stuff, and he goes to the restaurant. Hu Yang meets Hai-ji, who keeps reminding him of herself. He seems not interested in asking about Lee Ju, and Hai-ji says she's coming. Waiting for her, Hai-ji keeps telling Hu Yang about herself and her job as a teacher, but he gives her just waiting for Lee Ju. Lee Ju indeed gets into the place, but she was drunk. She keeps hallucinating, then says that she met her first love today. Hu Yang thinks happily that she's talking about him. He decides to drop her home to make sure she's fine. She tells him that she remembers how they met, adding that she hated him a lot. Hu Yang asks her to start over and Lee Ju accepts, asking him to be her friend. He drops her home where he discovers that he's her neighbor living in the above apartment. Huyang feels happy, remembering how he was always taking care of her, revealing that she actually was his first love. Li Ju wakes up in shock at remembering what she's done the previous night. She recalls meeting her ex and she drank a lot, then joined the party. She remembers what she did with Huyang also. The door knocks and she fears it's him. It was Haiji who came asking about her condition yesterday. Li Ju tells her that she met her ex who tried to make up with her but she refused. Haiji doesn't like how Li Ju is ignoring love, and asks her to help her get Huyang. And Li Ju agrees. She remembers how she tried multiple times to convince him that Haiji likes him, but he was ignoring her every time, which made her think he's so arrogant. However, as Huyang was actually in love with Li Ju, he was rejecting Haiji's messages knowing it's hers not Li Ju's. Fed up, Li Ju writes on the board a new message to Huyang. However frustrated, he wipes it off. Li Ju decides that she'll help Haiji reach Huyang no matter what. Huyang talks to Baekwook, asking if he knows the neighbor living on the upper floor. He tells him to ask her to take him on a tour in Korea. The uncle questions his desire. However, he contacts Li Ju asking to take his nephew on a tour in the city, providing a picture of Huyang when was a kid. Li Ju thinks he's a kid and accepts. She asks Haiji to join her but she refuses. At that time, Huyang was happily preparing himself for the first date with his crush. He wears a perfect outfit and hears the doorbell. Li Ju is shocked to see Huyang in front of her. She looks at the picture not believing he's the same person. She fears that Haiji will be sad. However, Huyang tells her that she promised Baekwook to take him on a tour. Li Ju tries to refuse but he gives her no chance. She called Haiji to come join, but she wasn't replying. Huyang lets her drive as he knows nothing in the city. She asks where to take him, and he replies that she could take him wherever she wants. Li Ju gets nervous about his looks, and avoids eye contact with him, questioning why he does this. The tour ends up in the amusement park, where they had a great time, and take pictures for memories. She then takes him to eat hot Korean noodles and they make a challenge with the loser to fulfill a wish for the winner. Huyang says that she can't beat him, but she replies that she's crazy with spicy food. Huyang can't bear how hot the noodles is, and he asks for water and announces he has lost. Li Ju forces him to wear traditional Korean outfits for a princess and her servant, asking him to follow her everywhere and picture her. Instead of being embarrassed, Huyang was lost in her beauty and cuteness. Sar doesn't like his pictures and tells him that she'll teach him how to take good pictures. For the first time she noticed he's handsome. At this point, she decides to end the date and leave. At this time, Haiji is forced to a school camp with her colleagues, and the principal, Gyeong Taek, the man in Li Ju's blind date before, is shown to be a colleague teacher. Haiji was hating this trip, and she was murmuring that she wishes she is sleeping right now. Haiji, lost in thoughts, stumbles before Gyeong Taek catches her. She thanks him, and he tells her to be more careful. When Haiji returns home, she finds Li Ju's ex, Junho, waiting for her. He says that Li Ju is not answering his calls. Haiji warns him not to approach her dear friend or he'll face something he gonna hate. It rains, and Huyang asks her to get into the car until it stops. Huyang decides to confess his feelings, but she doesn't give him a chance as she keeps talking and playing with the car's buttons until she opens the window. Huyang immediately gets closer to close the window, which makes Li Ju shy and nervous. She asks him to step back and quickly take her home. Once the car stops, Li Ju runs out of it immediately. However, he follows her and holds her before falling, giving her his umbrella. Li Ju gets very shy. She feels guilty as her heart beat for him. In a flashback, she insulted him for not taking her friend's message, saying that she can never fall for a man like him. She didn't know that he was doing so because he likes her, not Haiji, but he didn't want to confess not to hurt Haiji. He sees her sleeping in the library, and holds her head before falling. He noticed her homework, and he completed it and gave it to the teacher. When she woke up she thought it was lost. The next day, Li Ju goes to her work. The manager introduced her to her colleague Junho, and to Li Ju's shock he was her ex. She remembers how he broke up with her 3 years ago and traveled. She tries to stop him but he insists on going. Junho says he's happy to work with her, but Li Ju tells him that she got over him, and she didn't want anyone to discover their relationship. Junho replies that he is still in love with her, but he traveled to work and be suitable for her. Huyang was with Baekwook, deciding to delay his trip for more than 3 weeks, of course for Li Ju. However, he sees her in a restaurant with Junho. He asks Baekwook if he knows who that guy is. The uncle replies that he's a very good person, and reveals that he's her ex. He tells him that he hates him though as he left her without any explanation. Junho follows Li Ju wanting to talk with her, however she refuses. Huyang emerges taking her hand, telling the man that she is actually his girlfriend, adding that she forgot her phone in his car. She wanted to leave but Huyang held her hand. She again thanked him saying she had to go to work. There, her manager tells her that she knows that Junho is her ex and she has no other option than working with him. Junho was talking with his friend on the way back home. He told him that Lee Ju was happy to see him and he's sure she's going to accept work with him. Huyang was happy looking at his hand and remembered what happened. Baekwook tells him that Junho was actually her first love. In a flashback, Lee Ju is revealed escaping from school. Junho, who was always monitoring her, sees her, and asks what she's doing. He refuses to leave her bag until she says what is going on. Lee Ju lies saying that she is ill and she wants to head home. Huyang decided to drive her and they boarded the bus. However, he sees a gift with her and they leave the bus away from home. Lee Ju's forced to tell him that she is going to the military camp, as she's now about to confess to someone, who was actually Junho. Huyang feels broken knowing that she loves someone else and she will never pay attention to him. When the uncle discovers Huyang's feelings for Lee Ju, he gets furious, saying that he can't delay his trip to America because of this. He tells him that Lee Ju is not suitable for him and he must focus on his future. He keeps working all night in a trial to forget her, but he can't. Meanwhile, Gyeong-taek was watching Haiji at work as usual. He tries to collect himself to talk with her, but just as every time, he gets super nervous and shuts up. On the way home, Lee Ju sees Huyang on the street. She thanked him for what he did today and invited him to dinner as compensation. Huyang is happy that he is going to meet her again. However, he discovers that she actually brought Haiji to the date. She even leaves the table for him to talk more. Haiji notices Huyang's looks to Lee Ju. She boldly asks if he likes her, and Huyang is forced to confess that he likes her from high school, but he couldn't confess to her because of Haiji. Haiji gets even more shocked at hearing all the coincidence that was happening between those two. She felt like they are fated to be together. However, she tells Huyang that it's hard to get Lee Ju as she will not accept her best friend's crush. Haiji drinks heavily in grief, but is willing to help Huyang get the girl he likes even if it will break her. Lee Ju at this time was in a restaurant of a friend of hers. She keeps eating, drinking, and saying that she's upset to work with her ex. She kept insulting him and Sangpil tried to calm her down. He even advised her to keep away from that bastard. Lee Ju leaves the restaurant and discovers that Huyang hasn't come back yet. She feels worried, but before she called him she remembers that he might be with Haiji, so she didn't do so. The next day she tells the manager that she decided to work with Junho as she's sure she has no feelings for him. At this time Huyang was packing his bag to return to America, knowing that now he has no chance with Lee Ju, he'll consider him only a friend's crush. At this time Haiji was absent-minded at her work. Gyeong-taek noticed and went to her. She asks what will he do if his first love actually loves his best friend. Gyeong-taek tells her with no hesitation that he'll congratulate him. In the flashback, we continue seeing Lee Ju feeling frustrated when discovering that Junho was not at the camp and he was lying to her. She sits on the street crying, and Huyang decides to take her to a restaurant to calm her down. However, Lee Ju keeps crying and Huyang advised her to return to the school, but she told him that she will keep searching for Junho until finding him. They return to the camp asking the security man about Junho's place. However, he replies that he's actually camping but in a secret camp on the mountain and she can't reach him. Lee Ju feels upset and she decides to leave, and Huyang was of course with her. However, they discover that they missed the last bus, and they keep running after it. However, Lee Ju fell to the ground but asked Huyang to catch the bus. However, she turns to her saying that he'll stay by her side even if they sleep on the street. Back to the future, when Huyang was about to get into the airport, he gets a call from Haiji telling him that Lee Ju had an accident and she is in the hospital. Huyang decided to cancel the plan, and he ran to the hospital. He found Lee Ju sleeping and injured. He holds her hand saying that he will not go anywhere and will stay by her side. Lee Ju opens her eyes to find him like this. She asks why he didn't travel and Huyang replies only by putting her hand on his heart, trying to hint his feelings to her. However, the stupid Lee Ju didn't know why he did this. And before they talk, the nurse cuts the moment by getting in. She takes Lee Ju to examine her. At this moment, Haiji was begging her manager to let her go see her friend in the hospital. Gyeong-taek takes her in his car, and when sees that her shoe is hurting her foot, he puts her foot in his sneakers to let her run quickly to her friend. She actually does and meets Huyang's uncle on the entrance. Huyang was at the elevator with Lee Ju. She asked him about the date with Haiji. When he decided to confess his feelings to her, a lot of people got into the elevator. Lee Ju is pushed to Huyang, who was happy by her being near him. When they got out, as she was so nervous, she apologized, cleaning any misunderstanding. However, Huyang was thinking that she didn't misunderstand situations. She didn't understand it at first. Then she's approached by Haiji, who apologized for being late and offered to drive her home. However, out of sudden, Haiji told her that she managed to forget her feelings about Huyang. She even holds Gyeong-taek's arm saying that it's her new boyfriend. Then she asks Huyang's uncle to leave Lee Ju with Huyang alone. Lee Ju was shocked and confused, but she found no other way than letting Huyang drive her home. We continue in the flashback when they were searching for a place to spend the night in. Hu Yang fell into a hole full of water. Li Ju laughed at Hu Yang, but he seriously told her that he didn't know how to swim and he fears water. Li Ju left to bring a rope, but it was torn and Hu Yang fell into the water and was drowning. Li Ju was terrified and she quickly jumped into the water to save him. However, it ended up that both of them got stuck not knowing how to leave the hall. Li Ju told Hu Yang it's going to be darker and she fears darkness. He asks her to be more bold seeing that he's by her side. However, he hears a strange voice, which makes him jump into her lap in fear, making her laugh at him. When Hu Yang drops her home, he offers to help her till the apartment. Li Ju refuses and decides to depend on herself. However, she was about to fall before Hu Yang caught her. He carries her to her bed, even offering to stay with her to take care of her. Li Ju sleeps and dreams he's kissing her. She wakes up terrified asking why she sees such dreams. At this time, Junho was thinking about Li Ju, remembering the day she went with him to sign his book. She was asleep all the time, but he was happy by her presence. He wishes that they could return, and his friend advises him to tell her the real reason why he left her. He was actually ill and traveled to get treated but refused to tell her not to break her if he died. In the morning, Li Ju found that Hu Yang had prepared breakfast for her, and he was treating her like a princess. When she gets out, she finds Junho in front of her. He asks why she didn't reply to his calls, but Li Ju told him that they are not together and he has no right to call her. She gets in sitting on the ground and keeps crying. Hu Yang approaches her trying to calm her down. In a weakness moment, he gets closer and kisses her. In a flashback, he remembers meeting her on a day that they agreed to. However, he gets a call from his mother saying that she's decided he will continue his studying in a college in America. At this point, Hu Yang decided to stop his confession. However, Li Ju saw him and went to talk to him asking what he wanted, but he boarded the bus pretending not to see her. Back to the kiss, Li Ju was shocked at what he had done. She asked why he did this. Hu Yang finally confessed his love. Li Ju gets shocked saying that they're only friends. Hu Yang says he has liked her since high school, and he'll keep chasing her until she accepts him. At the same time, Hai Ji sees Jiang Taek and tries to give him a chance. However, when she meets him, he acts like he didn't see her and leaves. Hai Ji feels frustrated asking why he's doing so, while Jiang Taek hides feeling very nervous at seeing her as he is actually somehow introverted. For Li Ju, she goes to Sangpil's restaurant and finds him chopping onions. To relieve her stress, she offers helping him in chopping the onions. He feels good that she's not okay, but she refuses to tell him what happened, fearing that he will mock her. Hu Yang was thinking about Li Ju, and he was super happy that he managed to confess his feeling. Baekwook asks if he's going to work, but Hu Yang instead views Li Ju's Instagram and discovers that she is at Sangpil's restaurant and decides to go to her. However, when Li Ju discovers it, she decides to leave the restaurant quickly, asking Sangpil to tell him that she already left. She boards a bus and keeps thinking of her difficult situation. She receives a message from Junho asking her to make up with her again, and also received a message from Hu Yang telling her that he is still waiting for her response. She goes to her house and tries to do some yoga to calm herself down until the doorbell rings. It was Sangpil who told her that they are going to a camp. At first she was excited, but when discovered that Hu Yang was also on the trip, she decided not to come. However, Sangpil tells her that she was so excited, and if she refused, he'll send Hu Yang to carry her to the car, which made her agree at the end. In the car, Hu Yang sits beside her and keeps looking at her in love. Hu Yang keeps talking to her, but she ignores him and pretends to be sleeping to escape his questions. When they reach a rest, he helps her get out of the car. And on the way back to the car, she tells him that she now wants to sit in front near the driver. However, she discovers that Hu Yang is going to be the driver while his friend is taking a nap with Hu Yang's uncle. She keeps drinking and eating to avoid talking to him. However, Hu Yang asks him to give him a piece as he's hungry, but to ignore feeding him with her hand, she tells him that it's the last piece and she wants it, and she actually eats it. Hu Yang laughed at her and she also laughed for the first time. When they reach their destination, they decide to fish for dinner. He holds her hand telling her to come fish with him. Li Ju rejects it and he goes with Sangpil to fish together. And the friend told him that he's going to teach him how to fish. However, in the end, Hu Yang was the one who managed to catch a huge number of fish while the friend can't catch even one fish. Then Li Ju walks by the shore and Hu Yang sees her. He hurries to her and she is about to fall, but he catches her. She thanks him and then asks him to help her collect some seaweed. Despite having an allergy, he decided to help her. They spend a great time together. And they get even closer. Then they see a rare seaweed under a rock, and they cooperate to collect it. However, for being so weak, Li Ju falls, but Hu Yang catches her at the last moment. Li Ju feels super shy and she fears that he will kiss her again, so she puts her hand on his mouth. Hu Yang notices her nervousness and knows she began to build feelings for him, and he decides not to surrender. When they return home, Li Ju finds Hai Ji so upset. She thinks that there is a problem between her and Jiang Taek. She takes her to the balcony telling her that she must fix any misunderstanding between them so as not to destroy the relationship. Haiji decides to confess that there is no relationship between her and Jiang and she just said that to give Li Ju a chance to be with Huyang. Li Ju feels touched and thanks her for her kindness and love. Haiji confesses that she likes Jiang but he didn't give her a chance. And Li Ju reminds her how she was reminding her at the beginning to fight for her love and it's her turn to fight for her love. Haiji decides to fight and she goes to sit beside Jiang. He was completely nervous. And at the same time Huyang asks Li Ju to sit by his side. She did and they all took pictures in happiness. At night Li Ju sees her past in her dream where she was living with her mother before she died and left her to her aunt. Then also her aunt left her then when she was stating Junho he also left her. She fears that Huyang also will leave her one day. She wakes up terrified looking for Haiji but no one was in the house. However Haiji decided to leave the group and return to leave Huyang and Li Ju alone together. Minutes later Huyang gets into the house and Li Ju feels relieved. Once she sees him she tells him with love not to leave her and travel to America as she will not be able to bear more abandonment from people she loves. Huyang gets surprised when saying that she loves him. She even decides to take a step and she kisses him saying that she will give their relationship a chance. And she asks him to give her some more time to adapt with her new state. Li Ju and Huyang started dating, and their life was going very happily and smoothly. One day in the car they were caught by Huyang's uncle, who asked his nephew to get in the house. Huyang tells Baekwook that he is now dating Li Ju, and he will also submit his resignation in America's job. The uncle tells him that's impossible as his mother will not accept it. But Huyang tells him not to tell Li Ju anything until he can solve his problems with his mother. He then calls Li Ju who asks him that she can't sleep. He tells her that he is going to come to her apartment. But Li Ju was so shy so she tells him that she's sleepy and she's going to sleep. The next day she goes shopping with Haiji and calls Huyang telling him that she can't meet him today as she's shopping with Haiji. He keeps waiting for her in front of the house, and he sees her with Baekwook who was drunk. He carries Baekwook on his back and puts him inside the apartment then returns to Li Ju. The next day they decide to go on a date. They prepare themselves however they see Haiji in front of the house waiting for Li Ju feeling upset. The couple is forced to take Haiji to the date with them, where she was feeling upset and sad as she's single and has no boyfriend. Huyang suggests that she could go to Jiang to talk to him. Haiji admits that her clothes are not suitable and Li Ju decides to give her her own dress. Haiji wears the dress and goes to meet Jiang very confidently. She finds him with his mother, and once the mother sees her she likes her a lot and keeps talking with her as she is already her son's coming wife. Jiang was hearing and felt super shy about what was going on. When the mother leaves he apologizes for Haiji because his mother bothered her with her behavior. Hearing this Haiji thinks that she is pushing herself to Jiang while he didn't like it, so she decides to leave crying. After that Junho goes to the manager asking him to help him return to Li Ju once more. However the manager tells him that Li Ju had very bad times when he left her and he has no right to return to her now. At that time Li Ju was asking Huyang why he fell in love with her. Huyang decided to tell her everything about the first time he saw her sleeping in the bus stressing that he liked her from the first time he saw her, which makes Li Ju feel happy. However the date is cut when Huyang receives a call from Baekwook saying to come to the company very quickly. Huyang drops Li Ju home, and returns to the company where he finds his mother who tells him he should travel back to America. Huyang tells her that he always was doing what she wants but this time she has to let him do what he wants and what he likes. The next day Haiji goes to the school and leaves Jiang the sneakers he gave her before with a message apologizing if she bothered him the previous period. Jiang feels guilty for sadding her. He decides to gather his courage to confess that he likes her. When he gets into the office he finds her talking with students which makes him sit beside feeling shy to go talk with her. When she finishes he decides to go talk with her, but he gets nervous and forgets everything he wanted to tell her. Haiji thought that he was making fun of her so she left him. At this time Junho meets Li Ju to complete the project they work on. However Li Ju apologizes saying that she's not going to complete the project. Junho feels sad and he gets up but feels dizzy and falls. Li Ju goes to help him and he decides to confess that he traveled to receive a treatment not just to work as he told her before. Li Ju gets surprised however she apologizes saying that she respects him for telling her the truth but he is too late as she has no feelings for him anymore and she loves Huyang. At this time Huyang's mother was convincing him to travel to America with her. However he completely refuses saying that he will not abandon his beloved Li Ju. However the mother goes to their house and sees Li Ju. She treats her badly which forces Li Ju to leave her with Huyang alone. Huyang takes her to his apartment where the mother tells him that she will stay with him until he returns to America with her. That night Li Ju finds Junho waiting for her drunk. He begs her to return to him as he can't bear her abandon. Li Ju told him that she went through all the stages before and it's his turn now. Huyang's mother sees them together and thinks that she's cheating on her son. She asks her to leave her son to travel to America with her. However Li Ju replies that she likes her son and she must let him do whatever he wants. The next day, Haiji was walking on the playground. The football was about to hit her. However, she's seen by Jyoung-taek, who runs towards her, saving her, taking the hit instead. She takes him to the hospital, where she boldly asks why he is avoiding her. Jyoung-taek decides to gather his courage, confessing that he liked her for a long time before, but she didn't notice him. She even arranged a blind date with her friend, and he went to see Lee Ju just to make her happy. Haiji feels happy, telling him that she likes him too. He kissed her and they became a couple. At night, Huyang's mother asks him if he really likes Lee Ju. He replies that she is his first love since high school and he can't leave her once more. The next day, the mother sees them together while trying to escape the house without her seeing them. Once sees her, they stop. However, the mother gives no reaction and leaves. The next day it was snowing, and Lee Ju heard the doorbell. Lee Ju thought he's Huyang, but she was surprised to see his mother in front of her. Lee Ju invites her in, and when she is about to serve her something, she discovers that the fridge is empty and she feels embarrassed. However, she sees Huyang's mother smiling, telling her that she accepted that Huyang can marry her on one condition, that she comes with them to America and not stopping her son's career. Lee Ju feels lost and torn between her desire to stay in Korea and her work, or to travel with Huyang and not stop his life. She can't make a decision, and she asks the manager, who tells her just to make whatever will make her happy. She goes to Huyang, telling him that she likes him but she can't travel and leave her work. Huyang tells her that he's not forced to travel with him. He is going to finish his job in America and he will return to her quickly. They decide to go on a last date and leave happy moments together. And on the day of the trip, Huyang's uncle asks him about Lee Ju and he replies that she didn't like goodbye moments. However, when he was in the airport, he finds Lee Ju coming with her bag, telling him that she took a long break from work to travel with him until they return to Korea together. They decide to marry and make a happy family together.